Last class we are discussing slide 13. So I'll go to slide 14. I'll finish this global warming presentation today, and then I'll be going to the next major topic on earthquake. So let us come to slide number 14. So this is the global warming. You can see the screen. This is the global warming prediction for next 100 years up to 2100. In 2100, what will be the change in temperature we see? You can identify the color. It's on a scale from 0 to 8. That color indicates how many degrees centigrade will increase by 2100 compared to the beginning of this century. Beginning of the century means we have, of course, baseline we have taken as 1990. Compared to 1990, already 1 degree centigrade has increased so far. How much more we expect? Say, for example, you see in the northern side of South America, the expected that area is actually the Amazon area. That area we expect a change of around 8 degrees centigrade. Amazon area is in a rainforest area. That area is going to have around 8 degrees centigrade. Similarly, you see the North Russian part, Siberia part. Siberia is very cool now. The Siberia part is going to have around 8 degrees centigrade within 1 century. And what about India? India is going to have around 5 degrees centigrade. This is what the global warming we expect this century. See the next slide. This shows the curve variation in 100 years. Whatever I have shown in the previous diagram, that is shown by a graph in this one. That's all. See the next slide. And how much is going to be the carbon dioxide emission increase? You see how much is going to be the carbon dioxide emission increase? In the last 1000 years, the carbon dioxide emission increase was very marginal. But hereafter, it is going to be so high that the sea level rise due to ice melting is going to happen. And you can see the temperature variation, what has happened in the last 1000 years. But carbon dioxide emission has been comparatively low in the last 1000 years, but it is going to be very high in the years to come. See the next slide. This shows that that diagram at the top. You see there's a small box at top which shows the carbon dioxide increase. See how much it is? The carbon dioxide level right now is around 340. By the end of the century, we expect it to be around 400. You can see there. Right now, it's around 340. And at the end of the century, you're going to be 400 parts per million, ppm. 400 parts per million or milligram per liter. That is going to be the quantum of carbon dioxide by the end of the century. That increase is so huge because over the years it has been 300 plus only. Over the years means over the last 100 years, it has been changing. You see that diagram. You see the last 1000 years, it has been almost stable. Carbon dioxide has been almost stable. But now, after 1850, it is tremendously increasing. Can you tell me what is the reason? The carbon dioxide level is tremendously increasing. You see that graph. The upper box you see, up to 1815, the carbon dioxide is almost at the same level, but from 1800 onwards, it is going up and up. Can anybody tell me the reason for it? Let me see.
Industrial revolution.
Yes, who has told that?
Samina.
Samina, you are right. You are right. It is true. Industrial revolution started at the beginning of around 1800. 1790 actually it started. From there onwards, you see how the carbon dioxide is increasing. Till then, the carbon dioxide limit used to be 200 plus only. But after 1800, it is going to 300 plus. And by the current position, it is going to be 400 plus by the end of the century. As you know, I've told that if the carbon dioxide level is increasing in the atmosphere, the global warming will increase. Nature has got its own capacity to reuse the carbon. That is what is called carbon sequestration. sequestration, sequestration. So what is carbon sequestration? What is its meaning? Carbon sequestration, the meaning endana? Yes, I told now. What is the meaning of carbon sequestration? അന്തരീക്ഷത്തിലെ കാർബണിനെ ആഗിരണം ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഭൂമിയുടെ കഴിവ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഭൂമിയിലുള്ള സസ്യജാലങ്ങളുടെ കഴിവ്. That is called carbon sequestration capacity. You get my point? മനസ്സിലായോ? എങ്ങനെയാണ് how plants absorb carbon? Aditya, how the plants absorb carbon? Aditya, please tell me how the plants absorb carbon. Yes. Yes. Anybody else? Aditya പറയുന്നില്ല. Aditya ഇവിടെ ഉണ്ടോ? Aditya, you are here or not? Aditya is here, but he has not responded to the question. Chelsea, can you tell me? Chelsea used to answer a lot of questions. So Chelsea അറിയാമെങ്കിൽ പറയൂ. How the plants absorb carbon dioxide?
Sir, by photos.
Yes, by
by
stomata.
stomata.
Yes, photosynthesis. Kirtana and one more. So many have, okay, it's good that so many answered. Anupama answered, Kirtana answered, Megha answered, Akshay answered, and obviously all these people have answered, and it is true. We have what is called the stomata process, or it is also photosynthesis, where carbon dioxide, water vapor will be reacting in the presence of air and oxygen to form what is called carbohydrate. And carbohydrate is the only original food in the earth. No other food. We are eating mutton, chicken, etc. because the hen and the lamb do eat carbohydrate. So the only original food in nature is carbohydrate. Only plants have got the capacity to make carbohydrates. Animals don't have. That is why all the animals are depending on the plants for food. See the next slide. This is the level of human produced not carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases. I told there are so many greenhouse gases, and I told there are more than 30 greenhouse gases which are very prominent. Out of them, the most prominent are carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide, then methane and nitrous oxides or nitrogen oxides. And the highest among them is carbon dioxide from fossil fuel. Fossil fuel means what? Ashok SK, what do you understand by fossil fuel? Ashok എന്ന് പറയൂ, fossil fuel എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? Ashok SK. What do you understand by fossil fuel? Ashok is here. When I am calling your name, please respond at least. Okay, Tanvir is opening. Tanvir, please tell me, what is fossil fuel? Tanvir unmute ചെയ്തിരുന്നു. പറയൂ. Ashok, yes sir പറഞ്ഞു, പക്ഷേ he is not answering the question. Tanvir, Kavya is also opening. Anybody tell, please. Tanvir or Kavya, please tell. What is...
Sir, organic materials.
Organic materials decompose ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്ന ഫ്യൂവലിനാണ്. അതായത് organic materials decompose ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ കിട്ടുന്ന ഫ്യൂവൽസ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ kerosene, that is basically called crude oil. Yes, fuel formed from dead plants and animals. You are right. അത് പറഞ്ഞ ശരിയാണ്. So many people are now responding. Aditya has said fuel formed from dead plants and animals, and Vishnupriya has told fossil fuels are hydrocarbons. So രണ്ടും correct ആണ്. എല്ലാം hydrocarbons ആണ്, fossil fuels എല്ലാം. Examples of fossil fuels are kerosene, petroleum, then aviation fuel, diesel, gasoline, all these are naphtha, all these are fossil fuels. The fossil fuels in carbon dioxide, that is all these are used for transportation as also for working of engines. That is the highest contributor to greenhouse gas. Other carbon dioxide from deforestation. Deforestation means whenever the natural things are decomposing, carbon dioxide will come out, methane will come out. They are from normal course. So you see the graph, that white part indicates from decay, and that blue part, light blue part indicates methane, and that dark blue part indicates nitrogen oxide. So this is roughly the proportion of different gases which make greenhouse effect. Okay, see the next slide. I told you the greenhouse effect is more and more because of population growth. See the population growth in urban area, not totally. Urban population is growing and growing, which gives a lot of transportation congestion and obviously the emission of greenhouse gases. When India became independent, we had a population of 33 crores. 33 crores means 330 millions. At that time, the urban population was only around 16 or 16 crores or 160 million. How many times it increased now? You see, by 2020, the urban population is, you see here, it is much more than that. By 2020, this graph says that the urban population is around 500 million. But actually, it is now more than that. This is a prediction which was done earlier. Now the actual urban population in India is around 65 crores or 650 million. It has even crossed this diagram. This diagram is a bit old. It's a 10-year-old diagram. Now the reality is the urban population in India is 65 crores or 650 million. See, China is above us even now, and this depiction shows up to 2050 how the population is growing. See the next slide. That is the last slide in our presentation. What is it? Possibility, likelihood of global warming is disturbing. There are two very famous Malayalam poems which depict this situation. One poem is a recent one which was sung by Rashmi Soman. Ini varunnoru thalamurakke ivida vasam satyamo. That is a recent poem. Anybody knows that poem? Anybody? I am not a good singer. Anybody knows that poem so that you can sing 2-3 lines? That poem is very impressive. It shows the effect of global warming and the crisis on earth. Anybody knows? Who are the singers in this? Sneha Paduo. Sneha, do you sing? സ്നേഹ പാടാറുണ്ടോ?
ഇല്ല സർ.
അറിയോ പാട്ട്?
ഇല്ല.
ഇല്ല. സ്നേഹ അൺമ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്ത് അതുകൊണ്ട് ചോദിച്ചാ. ആരാണ് സ്നേഹ നിങ്ങളുടെ ക്ലാസ്സിലെ പാട്ടുകാര്? ആരാ? കേട്ടില്ല. കേൾക്കണില്ല. ഒന്ന് ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യൂ, ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ഒന്ന് ടൈപ്പ് ചെയ്യൂ പേര്. ആരാണ് പാട്ടുകാരെന്ന് അവരോട് ചോദിക്കാൻ നോക്കും. അവരെ കൊണ്ട് 2 വരി പാടിക്കാൻ നോക്കാം. ഒരു റിലാക്സേഷൻ ആയിക്കോട്ടെ. Yes, who is the singer in your class? അത് ECO CSO ഏതായാലും മതി. അല്ലെ ഈ പാട്ട് അറിയുന്നവരുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മുന്നോട്ട് വരിക. രണ്ടോ മൂന്നോ വരി നമുക്ക് പാടി കേൾക്കാം. To see the global impact of warming and climate change. ആരുമില്ല? ബി ഷെയിം. ഇത്രയും പേരുള്ള ക്ലാസ്സിൽ, 50 പേരുള്ള ക്ലാസ്സിൽ 2 വരി പാടാൻ ആളില്ലെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ മോശമല്ലേ? പെട്ടെന്ന് പറയൂ. Somebody please come up.
Lenskart.com presents Airflex. Specs that flex.
ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? സ്വാർത്ഥ ചിന്തകളുള്ളിലേറ്റി സുഖങ്ങളെല്ലാം കവരുവോ? ചുട്ടരിച്ചു കളഞ്ഞുവോ ഭൂമി തന്നെ നന്മകൾ? നനവുകിനിയും മനസ്സുണർന്നാൽ മണ്ണിലിനിയും ജീവിതം. നനവുകിനിയും മനസ്സുണർന്നാൽ മണ്ണിലിനിയും ജീവിതം. ഒരുമയോടെ നമുക്കു നീങ്ങാം തുയിലുണർത്തുക കൂട്ടരെ. ഒരുമയോടെ നമുക്കു നീങ്ങാം തുയിലുണർത്തുക കൂട്ടരെ. ഇനി വരും ഒരു തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? പെരിയ ഡാമുകൾ രമ്യധർമ്മ്യം അണുനിലയം യുദ്ധവും. ഇനി നമുക്കീ മണ്ണിൽ വേണ്ടെന്നൊരു മനസ്സായി ചൊല്ലിടാം. വികസനം അത് മർത്യ മനസ്സിൻ അതിരിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങണം. വികസനം അത് മർത്യ മനസ്സിൻ അതിരിൽ നിന്ന് തുടങ്ങണം. വികസനം അത് നന്മ പൂക്കും ലോക സൃഷ്ടിക്കായിടാം. വികസനം അത് നന്മ പൂക്കും ലോക സൃഷ്ടിക്കായിടാം. ഇനി വരും ഒരു തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? ഇനി വരും ഒരു തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? മലിനമായ ജലാശയം അതിമലിനമായൊരു ഭൂമിയും. മലിനമായ ജലാശയം അതിമലിനമായൊരു ഭൂമിയും. ഇനി വരും ഒരു തലമുറയ്ക്ക് ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ? ഇവിടെ വാസം സാധ്യമോ?
Have you heard and understood the poem?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Megha, what did you understand? Tell me one point that you understood
Sir, about the pollution.
about the pollution. Okay, somebody else say another point. Megha has told she understood about the pollution. Sri Lakshmi, what you understood? Sri Lakshmi is not here. Yes. Mariha, what you understood?
സർ, നമ്മുടെ ആവാസ വ്യവസ്ഥയിൽ തന്നെ ഒരു അസന്തുലിതാവസ്ഥയല്ലേ. അപ്പൊ ഇനി വരുന്ന തലമുറയ്ക്കുള്ള എന്താ പറയാ സോഴ്സസ്, പിന്നെ ട്രീസ്, അങ്ങനത്തെ നല്ല നല്ല കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഉണ്ടാകുമോ എന്നതാണ് ഇതിന്റെ ഒരു പൊരുൾ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്.
Okay. So this song has some message for all of you. Am I right?
യെസ് സർ.
That is why I wanted you to listen to this song. This is the one song which I like the most because it has got many things being told on it. Okay. Now with that we are closing this module. We are going to the next module. Nandita, please show the next PPT. Okay, so far we were having a general discussion on many things. It was rather the introductory module which was general purpose. Hereafter we are going to have specific chapters on each things like earthquake, like landslides, like flood, etc. Each topic will be separately dealt in each chapter. So far we were having mixed things. So whatever I have, I think this is my 8th session. Whatever I discussed in this 8th session was things of general nature. But now we are going to more focused things. So the first in that is earthquake. See the next slide on earthquake. What is an earthquake? You would have got some idea about earthquake from what I have told earlier. But now we go for a detailed study on earthquake. Okay. See the next slide. This is what is earthquake. Read that statement on the screen a sudden movement of the Earth's crust caused by the release of stress collected along faults or by volcanic activity. So we will see what is a fault and what is a volcanic activity. And faults are caused due to the stress in the tectonic plates. Tectonic plates do compress each other or do stretch each other. Both these will cause faults in the tectonic plates. That will cause stress released on the surface. That is a cause for the earthquake. You will see it in detail. See the next slide. So this gives the biggest earthquakes which happened, the strongest earthquakes which happened in the world in magnitude. In one of the classes, I have told you what is the scale for measuring earthquake. What is the scale for measuring earthquake we have discussed earlier. Anupama, can you tell me what is the scale for measuring earthquake? Anupama, yes. Anupama is here? Yes. Tell me, what is the scale for measuring earthquake? You can put in the chat box. Or you can tell. It's up to you. Richter scale. Your spelling, Vishnupriya also told. Spelling has to be corrected. It is R-A-C-H-T-E-R. Yes, Aditya has given the correct spelling. Yes, Richter scale. And Richter scale varies from what to what? What is the scale from? For example, a foot scale varies from 0 to 12 inches. Similarly, Richter scale varies from where to where? Deepthi D, can you tell me what is the range of Richter scale? Varies from where to where? 1 to 10. Aditya has given it.
1 to 10, sir.
Yes, 1 to 10. Deepthi and Aditya both gave. You are right. And I told 10 is the absolute highest. If an earthquake of 10 intensity occurs, Earth will not be remaining thereafter. It will be that much intensity. The highest intensity which has occurred so far is in Chile in 1960. The intensity was 9.5. What was the damage? I will give in another table. The second highest intensity was in Alaska in 1964, and the intensity was 9.2. See the next table, we will see some more. Recent earthquake which did a lot of damage. In January 2010, we had in Haiti, we had a magnitude of 7 and 3 million people affected and 2.3 lakhs people died. 2.8 lakhs buildings destroyed. Why it happened is that earthquake, though its intensity was only 7, it occurred in an area where old buildings were there. Haiti is a place where old buildings were many and population was also very high. That is why 2.3 lakhs people died and 2.8 lakhs buildings destroyed. Okay, not the intensity was very high. Intensity was only 7. That means if an intensity 7 occurs at Ernakulam, similarly this much damage can happen. Ernakulam town, it has got a population of around 10 lakhs. So definitely in Ernakulam town, if an intensity 7 plus can occur, this much may happen. Only the new buildings are quake proof. We can make buildings earthquake proof up to around 9 on the Richter scale. But only new buildings have got that capacity. Old buildings, we have got dampers and all dynamic system which buildings can have. Of course, the structural engineering is advanced. Up to 9.2 you can withstand by new buildings. And common buildings, framed buildings can withstand up to 8.89 range. But old cities, cannot. See the next slide. This one you must be knowing because you are born then. 2004. How old you have been? You are all in final years. Now, final years means 21 or 22. That means 1998 to 2001 you would have been born. So, you have been studying in nursery classes at this time. Am I right? 2004, when the Sumatra earthquake occurred, which brought devastating tsunami to Kerala. Now this December it will be completing 17 years. And its intensity was 9.1, for which 2,30,000 people approximately died. Some deaths have been in Kerala also. Okay. See the next slide. New Madrid earthquake, which happened in 1811 and 1812. It happened in Madrid. So many great cracks opened there. Earth got split there. Earth had splits there. Then small waterfalls developed. Then river banks were having heavy waves. All this have happened in the Madrid earthquake. It was a very heavy earthquake. And of course, the rush of river onto the So, which are the major global earthquakes? See the list? This is based on intensity, not based on the damage. Based on damage, I will give another one. Previous slide. Based on intensity, what was the next one? Why it is skipping? The table of 10 major earthquakes I have given. Next. Yes, this one. Major global earthquakes. Based on intensity, the highest I told was in Chile, May 1960. On 2nd May 1960, in Chile, intensity 9.5. But the death was only 1,655 because it happened in a hilly area. So the population in that area was very less. Then the second, 28 March 1964, in Alaska, there also death was very less. Though the intensity was 9.2, death was only 1,400. The third one happened in 2004, where the Indian tsunami we had. It was in Sumatra in Indonesia, under the sea. Then next one was in Japan in 2011, March 11. Intensity 9, 15,883 people died. The next one was in Russia, Kamchatka, on 4th November 1952. Richter scale 9. And then on 27 February 2010, in Chile again, though the intensity was only 8.8, the death toll was very high. 8 lakhs people died. See, intensity need not be directly proportional to the death. Chile in 1960, though the intensity was 9.5, only 1,655 people died. But in 2010, 8 lakhs people died. It was in the news. Then 27 February, Chile was very heavy. It was a catastrophic one. Then 31 January 1906, in Ecuador, it was scale 8.8 on the scale, 1,505 people died. And in 1965, in Alaska again, scale 8.7, death numbers were not counted because it was an island. I don't know whether in the island anybody lived there, but death count was maybe it's a desert island. Then 2005, again in Sumatra, Indonesia, scale was 8.6, 1,313 people died. And we had a quake of intensity 8.6 in Assam, India. That was in 1950, even before I was born. And around 780 people died. See the next slide. Now, worst earthquakes. Worst means based on the damage it has done. Based on the damage it has done, the worst earthquake was in Pakistan in 2005, 7.6 magnitude. Damage is based on the economic loss, not only the death of people. The death of people, collapse of buildings, destruction all over. It was in Pakistan. In 1976 in China, though the magnitude was only 8, the destruction was millions of people, plus so many buildings. Many of this earthquake, the exact damage is not available because after the earthquake, we couldn't, even a landslide which happened in Munnar area, we have only approximate number of, even though only some 100 plus people were there, we have only approximate number of deaths only. We don't have always the exact number. Then it is believed that 65 million years ago, we had a mass extinction on the earth. It is believed that the Jurassic Age came to an end then. Mass extinction, all the animals, human beings were not there. 65 million years ago, human beings were not there. So at that time, the most prominent living organism on the earth was the dinosaurs. That is why it is called Jurassic Age. Jurassic Age means the age where the Jurassic beings were very common. Jurassic is a particular climatic condition is called the Jurassic condition. It was conducive for those animals. In that period, these animals were very common, and dinosaurs, which are no more existing, they got extinct. Many of you would have seen the film Jurassic Park. Yes or no? How many of you have seen the film Jurassic Park? Nobody has seen? Yes, Sonia has seen. Okay. Sonia, in the beginning of the film Jurassic Park, they announced the period in which this happened. They announced the period in which the dinosaurs and such huge beings existed. Then they are saying that recently they have come up because the wrecks have been identified. But that is only imagination. What is the age? What is the period given in that film? Any idea? What is the period shown in that film? Jurassic Age given in that film? Anybody? What is the age that film shows you? No idea. You can put in the chat box. Sonia has no idea, but anybody else has any idea? That it's depicting nearly 30 million years back story and saying that that egg is still alive. Egg is not alive. It's only an imagination. Whatever dinosaurs you have seen, they are only animation. No dinosaur is originally here. In Russia, in Leningrad, one huge fossil of a dinosaur is kept, so many feet. But that has been taken from the ground. That is original. But only fossil, only the bones. How old is human beings? What is the age of human beings on this earth? മനുഷ്യനെ ഭൂമി വന്നിട്ട് എത്ര കാലമായി? Anybody? Mahindra, can you tell me how old is human beings on this earth?
Around 5,000 years.
It's not 5,000 years. Even the written history of man is around 8 plus 2. 12,000 years history is available. Romans have started writing the history around 8,000 BC. So around 8,000 plus 2,000, around 10,000 years history we do have. Even the Mahabharata story, even the epics, Indian epics are supposed to be around 4,000 years old. Which are the Indian epics? Mahabharata, Ramayana, then Bhagavata. These are the Indian epics. They are supposed to be around 4,000 years old, 3 to 4,000 years old. Man started wearing clothes around 20,000 years back. Man started wearing clothes. Clothes means at that time only the skin of the trees, Maravuri. Maravuri dharichu todangite around 20,000 years ago. And man started wearing the normal clothes like this. It's around 3,000 years. Cloth made of cotton and jute, etc. But that was only nominal. For example, in Kerala, men and women started wearing upper cloths only for the last 150 years. Till then, they used to have only lower side cloth. Till 150 years back. Even when I was young, people in our locality did have only lower side cloth. The upper cloth was not common at those days. But now our culture has changed a lot. Now, how old is man? That is my question. Mahalakshmi, can you tell me? I'm asking Mahendra and Mahalakshmi because they are old names. They are supposed to know history also. Mahalakshmi, how old is mankind? Yes, Mahalakshmi responded. Any idea how old is mankind? No idea. I'm asking about our own species. What is the name of our species? What is the name of our species? Mahalakshmi has written 6 million years. No, that is not correct, Mahalakshmi. Anyway, let me see whether anybody else knows. What is the name of our species? Very. Mariha, what is the name of our species? Namada species in the parent. Yes, Akshay has already written Homo sapien. Samina has also, Samina Vishnupriya, Homo sapien, you are right. So Homo sapien is roughly 1 lakh years old. Homo sapien prayam and 1 laksham varshathollu. How many generations may be there in that 1 lakh years? Etra generation down. What is the age of one generation? One generation the age etra 1 generation. In my younger days, a generation used to be around 15 years. കാരണം അന്ന് എൻ്റെ ചെറുപ്രായത്തിൽ കുട്ടികളൊക്കെ 15 വയസ്സിലൊക്കെ വിവാഹം കഴിക്കുമായിരുന്നു. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു 15-16 വയസ്സേ ഒരു ജനറേഷൻ്റെ ഗ്യാപ്പ് ഉണ്ടായിരുന്നു. But now it has increased. It has increased to nowadays most of the marriages to happen at around 25. So one generation may be 25 years gap. Okay. So 1 lakh years, how many generations would have been there? ഈ 1 ലക്ഷം വർഷത്തിനിടയ്ക്ക് എത്ര ജനറേഷൻസ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടാവും? ഒരു പഴയ കണക്കെടുത്താൽ മതി. ഒരു 15 വയസ്സ് ജനറേഷൻ ഗ്യാപ്പ് എടുത്താൽ മതി. ഓഫ് കോഴ്സ് 200-300 years back, generation gap used to be only around 12-13 years. ഇപ്പോഴാണ് ഇത്ര ലേറ്റ് ജനറേഷൻസ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു 15 വർഷം എടുത്ത് വെച്ചു നോക്കിക്കോളൂ. 15 വർഷം എടുത്താൽ 1 ലക്ഷം വർഷത്തിൽ എത്ര ജനറേഷൻസ് വന്നിട്ടുണ്ടാവും? Around 8,000 generations, only that much. The history of mankind, the Homo sapiens is only around 8,000 generations, not much. മനുഷ്യൻ ഭൂമിയിൽ ഉണ്ടായിട്ട് ഏതാണ്ട് 8,000 തലമുറകളെ വന്നിട്ടുള്ളൂ. In Hindu mythology, there is a concept. In Mahabharata, for example, എഴുത്തച്ഛൻ്റെ മഹാഭാരതം ക്ലിപ്പായിട്ട് എടുക്കുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിനകത്ത് 33 കോടി ദേവതകൾക്കൊപ്പം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു സ്റ്റേറ്റ്മെന്റ് ഉണ്ട്. 33 കോടി ദേവതകൾ. 33 crores of gods and goddesses. The Hindu mythology says that. Why 33 crores? Because in Hindu mythology, anybody who died was taken to go to heaven We assume that everybody goes to heaven after death. Very rare people will go to hell. So in heaven, whoever goes to heaven, they are a Deva or Devata. So Hindu mythology believed that 33 crores such people are there. Or simply, as per Hindu mythology, 33 crores people have died till the mythology were written. But now many would have written. Now the Indian population is around 138 crores. So many crores would have died already. But Hindu mythology says that. Okay. But human beings are comparatively very new. I told that only around 8,000 generations are there on this earth, taking an average lifespan, average generation gap of 12 years. You know, in younger generations, some 200, 300 years back, at 12, 13 years, people used to have small kids. That is how I have counted it. And hereafter, the generations will come down because it will double. Hereafter, in 1 lakh years, only around 2 to 3,000 generations will come, because in the years to come, generation gap will be higher. But one thing is, even within a year, you are having a generation gap in your culture. For example, the language spoken by the final year students of ASSET will not be understood by the second year students of ASSET right now. There is a change in jargon. And by the time you are out of the college next year, you will become old people for the first year students. Keep in mind, generation is changing like that. I know it because the last 59 years I lived on this earth, I have seen that every year drastic change is going on. Culture is changing. But I am just introducing you to the fact that the new human being is only 1 lakh years old. Before that, we had some predecessors. ഈ 1 ലക്ഷം വർഷത്തിന് മുമ്പ് മനുഷ്യനെ പോലെ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ചില മനുഷ്യരുണ്ടായിരുന്നു. നിയൻഡർതാൽ മാൻ, ജാവ മാൻ, ആസ്ട്രലോപിത്തിക്കസ്, റാമാപിത്തിക്കസ്. These are all 2-3 lakhs years old. റാമാപിത്തിക്കസിന്റെ ചില സ്കെലിറ്റൻ ഒക്കെ ഒരു 3 ലക്ഷം വർഷമൊക്കെ പഴക്കമുള്ള കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. So they are the forefathers of human beings. But no proof yet we got saying that man descended from monkeys. മങ്കീന്ന് മനുഷ്യൻ ഒറിജിനേറ്റ് ചെയ്തു എന്നുള്ളതിന് ഒരു പ്രൂഫ് ഇതുവരെ കിട്ടിയിട്ടില്ല. Only proof available is a living organism, a living being called gorilla. Gorilla is still living. Gorilla has got 50-50. Gorilla's brain is like the monkey, but its body is like the man. That is the only connecting element between monkeys and human beings. We don't know whether we change from monkeys to, but monkeys are small, but gorillas are big. So there is every possibility that from gorillas, the Neanderthal man, the Ramapithecus, the Australopithecus would have come up. From this Ramapithecus and Neanderthal man, definitely the Homo sapiens would have emerged. So don't feel that we are the original species of the earth. That is why Vaikam Muhammad Bashir says the right over this earth is more for the birds and animals, not for human beings. Why? The right over this earth. ഭൂമിയുടെ അവകാശികൾ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞൊരു കഥയുണ്ട് വൈക്കം മുഹമ്മദ് ബഷീറിന്റെ. He says that the animals and plants have got more rights on this earth compared to human beings, because you people, you are now final years, you have got more rights in assets compared to the first years. Like that, the animals and insects are the oldest one. Insects, Sushmajeeval, Kidangal, they are the oldest on this earth. Many of these insects are, what is the age of the earth? Bhumiyude prayam etra undavum? Anybody, what is the age of the earth? We have a bit deviated, but we are coming back to the earthquake. Earthquake അറിയുമ്പോൾ earthനെ കൂടി അറിയുന്നത് നല്ലതാണ്. That's why I'm asking this question. How much is the age of the earth? Anybody? Anybody can tell me the age of the earth? Swadigat, can you tell me? 48 years. 4.5 billion years. Okay, so different estimates have come. Jayadeva has told 4.5 billion years. Aditya has told 4.5 billion years. Revati has said 4.54 billion years. Yes, it is right. Most of you are right. Anandu is wrong. It is not 48. It is 4 billion years. Anandu has written 4 billion years. Okay. It is right. It is expected that the age of Earth is around 4.5 billion or 450 crores of years. 450 crores of years. Means we can prove it also. We can prove it by a technique. A chemical technique is available for proving the age of Earth. What is that technique? Can anybody tell me? You are right. Roughly 4 to 4.5 billion years. Some estimates say 4.3, some estimates say 4.5. Let us take 4.5. What is the technique by which we can prove it? Anybody?
Sir, rocks in the
Yes, Samina parayu.
depth ഭൂമിന്റെ പ്ലേറ്റ്സിന്റെ ഡെപ്ത് മെഷർ ചെയ്തിട്ട്
Depth
soil
measurement.
എത്രത്തോളം
Depth alla. It is based on a chemical technology. Depth വെച്ചിട്ടല്ല പറയാ ഭൂമിയുടെ പ്രായം. Chemical technology it is. Formation of mountains. Vignesh has written carbon. Vignesh, that has to be extended. Carbon-12 isotope has been there on the earth right from the beginning. So carbon-12 isotope is a radioactive isotope which is having its half-life period. അപ്പോൾ എർത്തിലുള്ള കാർബൺ-12 ഐസോട്ടോപ്പിന്റെ ക്വാണ്ടിറ്റി ഐഡന്റിഫൈ ചെയ്തിട്ട് that is what is called carbon-12 dating technique. Carbon-12 dating വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് Vignesh is very close to it. Not exactly same but very close to it. So by carbon-12 dating we can count what is the age of the earth. Okay. Now you have understood 2-3 things extra out of syllabus. One is what is the age of earth, what is the age of human beings, how old is a civilized man, and obviously of course nature has got cycles. So naturally we will all go to the primitive stage again. കുറേ വർഷങ്ങൾ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ പ്രാകൃത മനുഷ്യന്റെ ജീവിത രീതിയിലേക്ക് പോകേണ്ടി വരും. Because earth cannot afford our luxurious life now. We are lucky people. നമ്മളിപ്പോൾ ജീവിക്കുന്ന വളരെ ലക്ഷൂറിയസ് ആയിട്ടാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഏതാനും നൂറുകണക്കിന് വർഷങ്ങൾ കഴിയുമ്പോൾ വിൽ ഹാവ് ടു ഗോ ടു ദ ലൈഫ് സ്റ്റൈൽ ഓഫ് ദ പ്രിമിറ്റീവ് മാൻ. അപ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് ആളുകളെ ഉണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ, ബാക്കിയുള്ളവരൊക്കെ നശിച്ചു പോകും. ഇറ്റ്സ് എ സൈക്കിൾ. ദർ ഇസ് എ മാത്തമാറ്റീഷ്യൻ ഹു ഈസ് വെരി ഫേമസ്. ഹി വാസ് എ ഫിലോസഫർ ഓൾസോ. ഹിസ് നെയിം ഈസ് ഫൂറിയർ. FOURIER. ഫൂറിയർ. വുഡ് ഹാവ് സ്റ്റഡീഡ് ഫൂറിയർ സീരീസ്. മാത്തമാറ്റിക്സിൽ ഫൂറിയർ സീരീസ് പഠിച്ചിട്ടില്ലേ? Yes or no? You studied Fourier series or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So he was a great philosopher. So GC has told, Chelsea has told, Jadev told that you have studied. Fourier was a great philosopher. He says that every phenomena on this earth is cyclic. Cyclic means ആവർത്തിച്ചുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കും. ഏത് സിനിമയിലാ തിലകൻ പറയുന്നത് ഭൂമിയുടെ സ്പന്ദനം മാത്തമാറ്റിക്സിലാണെന്ന്? Which film? തിലകൻ says that ഭൂമിയുടെ സ്പന്ദനം മാത്തമാറ്റിക്സിലാണെന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഏത് സിനിമയിലാണ്? I forgot that. Which film? Spadigam. Swadika has given, Sri Lakshmi has given. Everybody knows. Chelsea, Jaydevan, very good. Spadigam. In Spadigam cinema, he says the vibration of the earth is in mathematics, but that is true. Fourier says that every phenomena, what is happening on this earth, can be expressed by a Fourier series. That is the basic theory of Fourier. Every phenomena, even the life cycle of human beings, which is happening on this. Fourier's treatise is a big book. You have studied only a bit of it. He was a philosopher also, not only a mathematician. See the next slide. Let us see the next slide. In a particular region in America, that is the South American region, so many earthquakes are around 4,000 earthquakes occurred in the last 45 years. Close to Chile, Alaska region. See, 4,000 earthquake. Do you know that there have been earthquake in Kanchikode area? Do you know that? How many of you know that we had earthquake in Kanchikode area where we are staying? Yes, we had earthquake in Walayar Kanchikode area, but its intensity was only 3+, so nobody knew it. We had many times earthquake in this region. But when the intensity is very low, we will never feel it. Only if the intensity is 4+ or around 3.5, we will know it. Even 3, an expert can understand, but public cannot understand. See the next slide. When earthquake happens, Earth will be moving. Earth will be moving vertically and horizontally. Both are quakes. Quakes means vibration. One is vertical vibration and one is horizontal vibration. Horizontal vibration means, what do you understand by horizontal vibration? Can you give me an example of a horizontal vibration and a vertical vibration? Can you give me an example of a horizontal vibration and a vertical vibration? Any idea? No idea. A tree is standing free. A tree is standing free. Heavy wind is coming. What will happen to the tree? A tree is standing vertical. A heavy wind is coming. What will happen to the tree? The tree will start oscillating to and fro. And that is a vertical vibration. A tree is called a cantilever. That is why the top leaf of the tree is called the canopy. മരത്തിന്റെ മുകളിലുള്ള പച്ചപ്പിന് പറയുന്ന പേര് canopy എന്നാണ്. മരം നിൽക്കുന്ന രീതി, it is a cantilever fixed at base. There is a root going down that is fixed at base. So the tree is called a cantilever, and any cantilever which is subjected to an impulse load will start vibrating. And wind is an impulse load. That is an example of a vertical vibration. Vibrations with respect to a vertical axis. Actually, that vibration is horizontal, but the axis is vertical. Similarly, can you tell me a case where the vibration is with respect to a horizontal axis? ഒരു horizontal axis reference ആയിട്ട് ഒരു vibration വരുന്നപ്പോഴാണ് ഒരു കേസ് പറയും. Any case? I think in your young days, you would have played with the cloth lines. വീട്ടില് തുണി ഇടാൻ വേണ്ടി you will have cloth lines. അശ അയ എന്നൊക്കെ പറയും അതിന്. അത് വലിച്ചു കെട്ടിയിരിക്കും. As young kids, you would have pulled it down. അതിനെ താഴേക്ക് വലിച്ചു വിട്ട് കളിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. And it will oscillate for a long time. Can you imagine? ഇത് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ആരെങ്കിലും ഈ കൂട്ടത്തിലുണ്ടോ? I have done it in my young days. Anybody among you? വലിച്ചു കെട്ടിയിരിക്കുന്ന റോപ്പിനെ താഴേക്ക് പിടിച്ചിട്ട് വിടുക. It will go on oscillating. That is vibration with respect to horizontal axis. So when the earthquake is coming, both these will happen. And the displacement from the original position is called the amplitude. ഉദാഹരണത്തിന് എർത്ത് ഒരു 3 സെന്റിമീറ്റർ മുകളിലേക്ക് പൊങ്ങിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ 3 സെന്റിമീറ്റേഴ്സ് ഇറ്റ്സ് ആംപ്ലിറ്റ്യൂഡ്. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു മരം ഒരു 10 സെന്റിമീറ്റർ സൈഡിലേക്ക് ചരിഞ്ഞാൽ, കാറ്റത്ത് ചരിഞ്ഞാൽ 10 centimeters amplitude. You know which is the biggest building on the earth? ഭൂമിയിലുള്ള ഏറ്റവും പൊക്കമുള്ള ബിൽഡിംഗ് ഏതാണ്? Anyone? The tallest building, not biggest, tallest. Sriram, what is the tallest building on the earth? Amita Mohandas has written Burj Khalifa. Sriram പറഞ്ഞില്ല, പറയുന്നതിന് മുന്നേ തന്നെ Amita has told. Okay. Burj Khalifa. And Rifas has written sea waves. Sea wave is an example for oscillation with respect to a horizontal reference. Sea waves മുകളിലേക്ക് താഴേക്ക് അല്ലേ വരുന്നത്. So strings of musical instruments ഇതെല്ലാം അതിന് എക്സാമ്പിൾ ആണ്. And of course, vertical, with respect to vertical referential oscillation, one best example is Burj Khalifa. Burj Khalifa, it will deflect at the top. You know what is a permitted deflection? In structural engineering, we do have a concept what is called permitted amplitude. Permitted amplitude എന്നൊരു concept ഉണ്ട്. കാറ്റടിക്കുമ്പോൾ ഒരു സ്ട്രക്ചർ എത്ര വരെ സൈഡിലേക്ക് പോവാം. അതിൽ കൂടുതൽ പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അത് പൊട്ടും. It will crack. But that much it is permitted. In Burj Khalifa, the topmost point, which is around 853 meters, nearly 1 kilometer ഉണ്ട്. Topmost point can go up to a maximum of 120 centimeters on both sides. 120 centimeters, അതായത് 4 അടി. ബുർജ് ഖലീഫയുടെ ടോപ്പിൽ നിങ്ങൾ പോയി നിന്ന് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കാറ്റടിക്കുമ്പോൾ അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും 4 അടി വെച്ച് പോകും. 8 അടി അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും പോകും. You will be thrown away like anything. ഒരു സ്ട്രക്ചർ 8 അടി അങ്ങോട്ടും ഇങ്ങോട്ടും ഓസിലേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന you will be thrown away. That is why nobody is permitted to climb on the top. അതിലൊരു 500 meters വരെ ക്ലൈംബ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അതും ഇൻസൈഡ് ഫ്ലോറിലാണ്. Okay. Have you understood now? And when the quake happens, it spreads shock. Both effects are there. One is when the horizontal acceleration takes place. I told that when with respect to vertical reference it is, the horizontal movement will take place. Horizontal movement is more panicky. Panicky means structures will collapse. ഒരു ഗ്ലാസ് നിങ്ങളെടുത്ത് കയ്യിൽ വെച്ചിട്ട് അതിനകത്ത് നിറച്ച് വെള്ളം വെച്ചിട്ട് ഹൊറിസോണ്ടലായിട്ട് ഷേക്ക് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കൂ. ജസ്റ്റ് ഇമാജിൻ, ഒരു ഗ്ലാസ്സിൽ നിറച്ച് വെള്ളം വെച്ചിട്ട് ഹൊറിസോണ്ടലായിട്ട് ഷേക്ക് ചെയ്യുക. ആ വെള്ളം സ്പില്ല് ചെയ്ത് പോകും. And if it is a very weak material, if you are shaking some soft material, it will crack. This is what happens in horizontal quake. Vertical quake, vertical quake, due to vertical movement, the columns may collapse. A building like columns collapse here. Because it is shocking. There is a rule in engineering mechanics. A dynamic load is much more than a static load. Dynamic load, you are standing on the floor, that is called static load. Suppose you are jumping on the floor, it is called dynamic load. What is the effect of the dynamic load with respect to the static load? You would have studied in engineering mechanics. Dynamic load in the effect, എത്ര ഇരട്ടിയാണ് static load വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ. What is the effect? Anybody? Dynamic load in the effect static load വെച്ച് നോക്കുമ്പോൾ എത്ര ഇരട്ടിയാണ്? Let me see whether any of you can say. ആരെങ്കിലും ഒരാൾ പറയൂ. Dynamic load in the effect. തറയിൽ നിൽക്കുന്നവരാണ്, തറയിൽ നിന്ന് ചാടുകയാണ്. Anybody? What is the effect of the dynamic load with respect to the static load? Best example is what I told. When you jump on the ground, the impact is more. That is what is called impact load. Impact load is minimum twice your static load. അതുകൊണ്ട് വീക്ക് ആയിട്ടുള്ള സർഫസിൽ ഒന്നും ചാടരുത്. നിങ്ങളുടെ വെയിറ്റ് 60 കിലോ ഉണ്ടാവുള്ളൂ. when you jump over it will be 120 kg. അത് കുറേ ഹൈറ്റിൽ നിന്ന് ചാടുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഗ്രാവിറ്റേഷണൽ ഫോഴ്സ് കൂടെ അതിൻ്റെ കൂടെ വരും. Gravitational force will be your weight into g. That will be the gravitational force. മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? വലിയ ഹൈറ്റിൽ നിന്നൊന്നും ചാടരുത്. For example, if your legs are broken, doctors will advise you not to jump. Why? തന്നെ നടക്കാനുള്ള സ്ട്രെങ്ത് കാലിനുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ജമ്പ് ചെയ്യുകയാണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഡബിൾ ഫോഴ്സ് കാലിലേക്ക് വരും. So the bones will again crack. Okay, see the next slide. So earthquake has got both this. It gives what is called the shock. This diagram I have shown earlier, I told that the Earth's surface is made of 4 stages basically. Crust, which is the outermost, mantle, which is just inside, outer core, which is just inside, and the core, which is most inside. And most probably the core will be having liquid lava. It is called magma, M-A-G-M-A, magma. So this earthquake will come to the top surface to be more effective. The earthquake is more effective on the crust. As we go inner and inner, the effect of earthquake will be reduced. What is the reason why earthquake effect will be reduced when we go inner and inner? Can you tell me? ഭൂമിയുടെ ഉള്ളിലേക്ക് പോകും തോറും earthquakeന്റെ effect കുറഞ്ഞു കുറഞ്ഞു വരും. Can anybody tell the reason? Why the effect of earthquake is less when you go? Tasin, can you tell me? Tasin, can you tell me why the effect of earthquake is less when we go to the inside of the earth? Most of the time, the earthquake will be originating inside the earth. That is point is called the focus. Then it will transmit to the surface, and from the surface only the horizontal waves will go. എപ്പോഴും ഭൂമിയുടെ സർഫസിൽ നിന്നാണ് ഹൊറിസോണ്ടൽ വേവ്സ് പോകുന്നത്. വെർട്ടിക്കൽ വേവ്സ് ഇൻസൈഡിൽ നിന്ന് വരും. Why, when we go inside, the effect of the earthquake is less and less? Any reason? No gravity. It's not a question of gravity. I think some of you would have made upma. വീട്ടിൽ ഉപ്മാ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിരിക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾ ഉണ്ടാവും അല്ലേ? എനിബഡി? മോസ്റ്റ് പ്രോബബിലിറ്റീസ് വിത്ത് ദ ഗേൾസ് അല്ലേ? ഉഷ്മള, ഹൗ യു മേഡ് ഉപ്മാ എനി ടൈം? ഉപ്മാ ഉണ്ടാക്കിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ? മരിഹയാണ് പറഞ്ഞല്ലേ ഉണ്ടെന്ന്. മരിഹ, എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഉപ്മാ ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്നത് എന്ന് പറയൂ.
നമ്മളാദ്യം എന്തോ വേണ്ടെന്ന് ഇപ്പൊ സവാള അതേപോലെ എന്തെങ്കിലും ഫ്രൂട്ട്സ് അല്ല വെജിറ്റബിൾസ് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഇടാ. എന്നിട്ട് പിന്നെ സവാള മൊരിച്ച് പിന്നെ വെള്ളം ഒഴിച്ച് വെള്ളം തിളക്കുമ്പോ റവ ഇടാ, ഉപ്പിടാ. ആദ്യം കടുക് പൊട്ടിക്കാം.
വെള്ളം തിളയ്ക്കുമ്പോ ഉപ്പാവിന്റെ മാവ് യു പുട്ട് ഇൻടു ദി വാട്ടർ. ഫ്രം ദേർ ഓൺവേർഡ്സ് വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദ പ്രോസസ് ഹാപ്പനിങ്? ഉപ്മാവിന്റെ പൊടി മാവ് അതിനകത്തേക്ക് ഇടുന്നത് തൊട്ട് അത് പൊടി ഗോതമ്പ് ഉപ്പുമാവാം, റവ ഉപ്പുമാവാം, അരിപ്പൊടിയാകാം. ആ പൊടി ഇടുന്നതുകൊണ്ട് എന്താ സംഭവിക്കുക? പിന്നീട് പൊടി ഇടുമ്പോൾ ലിക്വിഡ് ഫോമിലല്ലേ? റൈറ്റ്? കേൾക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? യെസ്. പൊടി ഇടുമ്പോൾ ലിക്വിഡ് ഫോമിലാണ്. പിന്നെന്താ ഗ്രാജുവലായിട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻ ചെയ്യാ? ഇളക്കിക്കൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കും അല്ലേ? കുറെ നേരം കഴിയുമ്പോ അതങ്ങ് ട്രൈ ആവൂലേ?
അതെ സാർ.
അപ്പൊ ഇളക്കി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എന്ത് പറ്റും? If you mix it again, what will happen?
ഒന്നുകൂടെ കട്ട പിടിക്കും.
കട്ട പിടിക്കും. പിന്നെ കുത്തി ഇളക്കി അത് പൊടിഞ്ഞു പോകും. This is what happens. This is what is happening from the inside of the earth to the outside. Crust എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ഉണങ്ങിയ ഉപ്പുമാവ് പോലെയാണ്. മാന്റിൽ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന സെമി സോളിഡ് ആണ്. ഔട്ടർ കോർ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ജെൽ ടൈപ്പ് ആണ്. ഇന്നർ കോർ എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ലിക്വിഡ് ആണ്. അതായത് വെള്ളത്തിലിടുന്ന മാവിന്റെ കണ്ടീഷനാണ് ഇന്നർ കോർ. കുറച്ചുകൂടി കട്ടിയായ രീതിയിലാണ് ഔട്ടർ കോർ. കുറച്ചുകൂടി സോളിഡിഫൈഡ് ആണ് മാന്റിൽ. ക്രസ്റ്റ് എത്തുമ്പോഴേക്ക് സോളിഡായി. എർത്ത് ക്രസ്റ്റ് യു ആർ സീയിങ്. എർത്ത് ക്രസ്റ്റിൽ ശരിക്കും യു ആർ ഹാവിങ് സോളിഡിഫൈഡ് റോക്സ് ആൻഡ് സാൻഡ്. വൈബ്രേഷൻ അവിടെ എത്തുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അത് ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യും. വെറാസ് ഇന്നർ കോറിൽ ബ്രേക്ക് ചെയ്യാനൊന്നുമില്ല. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ലിക്വിഡ്. ഔട്ടർ കോറിൽ എത്തിയാലും ഒരു ജെല്ല് പോലെയാണ്, ഒരു കട്ടിയായ ലിക്വിഡ് പോലെയാണ്. സോ ദർ ഇസ് നത്തിങ് ടു ബ്രേക്ക്. ബ്രേക്കിംഗ് ഈസ് പോസിബിൾ ഓൺലി അറ്റ് ദ ക്രസ്റ്റ്. ഒരു ഹൽവയുടെ പീസ് എടുത്ത് താഴെ ഇട്ടാൽ എന്ത് പറ്റും? ഇറ്റ് വിൽ നോട്ട് ബ്രേക്ക്. Whereas if you put a glass താഴെ ഇട്ടാൽ എന്ത് പറ്റും? It will crack. This is what is happening in the earthquake. This is true for human beings also. നിങ്ങളുടെ ബോഡി ഒരു 6 മാസം 1 വയസ്സൊക്കെ പ്രായമുള്ളപ്പോൾ താഴെ വീണാലും ഒരു കുഴപ്പമില്ല. Nothing will happen to your body. പക്ഷേ when I had to encounter a hit in a car, my bones were broken because my bones were very stiff. വയസ്സാവും തോറും ബോൺസ് സ്റ്റിഫായി വരും. Even setting is also difficult. Up to the age of 40-50, bones will set easily. I had an experience like this when my cousin sister and their family was traveling by car. They met with a severe accident. They were having their small kid also in the car. They were thrown out of the car after the accident. തെറിച്ചു പോയി. ഈ കുട്ടി ഒരു 10-15 അടി ദൂരെയാണ് പോയി വീണത്. But nothing happened to that kid. Was only 6 months old. Nothing happened. Not even a scar. ബാക്കി എല്ലാവരുടെയും എല്ലുകൾ പൊട്ടി. Why? Because that was their bone. The bone of the kid was just like a gel form. So it didn't crack. Maybe it's a nature survival system. See the next slide. This I have shown early. This is what is called the tectonic plates. I told that there are different tectonic plates. the Indian plate, the Australian plate, the South American plate, the North American plates. These are huge plates on the surface of the earth. The mantle of the earth is basically divided into, or the crust of the earth is basically divided into so many big plates. വലിയ വലിയ പ്ലേറ്റുകൾ അടുക്കി വെച്ചിരിക്കുന്ന പോലെ ഇരിക്കുകയാണത്. They move each other, and that movement, even naturally they are having movement. നമ്മൾ അറിയാതെ മൂവ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നുണ്ട്. 2 to 12 centimeter every year. We don't know because it is small, very small. Indian tectonic plate 2 centimeter മൂവ് ചെയ്താൽ നമ്മൾ അറിയുമോ? We will never know. Even 1 kilometer മാറിയാൽ പോലും we will never know. So tectonic movement is always there. Sometimes it becomes faster in some positions, that is all.